Hey guys, Dragonstar here. Today I've got another tutorial for you guys. This one is going to be very specific to how to learn any build order in the game. And the trick I'm going to be using for doing this is making a save every 5 minutes into the game. So for an example, I'll teach you guys my Manatom build order using the flowchart. And we can go over every single one of those scenarios while doing the build order, while making saves. So starting off with the game, I want to be doing the perfect dark age until 5 minutes. And if I make any mistakes during those 5 minutes, I'll restart the game. That's usually how I make progressions on every single 5 minutes of the game. So I want to make sure I'm scouting my map, making sure my villages are working. So in this game, I had a little bit of an idle time. My scout was not moving the entire time. And after the house was completed, my villages did not go back to the sheep immediately. So if I want to fix this inefficiency, this might cost me like maybe 4 resources or 3 resources from the mistake I actually ended up making. But if I want to be absolutely perfect, I'll press the restart button. That's how efficient when you're playing the game professionally you have to be, where every single movement counts. So I'll restart the game, start queuing the villagers, pull one of the sheeps closer to the town center on the leftmost box so that there's very minimal walking distance between collecting the sheep and the villagers moving around. Because if I park my sheep all the way to the left of the town center, yes, this villager will get there faster, but these two villagers, while going for a walk on that side of the tile, will waste like maybe 2 or 3 extra resources. So I want to avoid as much walking time as possible. So I'll probably place the sheep somewhere in the middle, something like that, where both these villages, after they're done, all 3 of these villages, after they're done building the house, will collect the sheep. So I mean, it is very min-maxing your situation, but that's usually how you want to do it. I mean, I kind of forgot to shift click the villager again, and I have to manually right click it. So if I was being very strict with myself, I would actually make a restart again, just because I forgot that one step in perfecting the first 10 seconds of the game. I would make a restart here. But just to not bore you guys with the demonstration, I'll continue on with doing this and make a save at 5 minutes. Until then, I'll try to make sure I'm doing the dark age as perfectly as possible. Trying to scout for my sheeps, going to look for my boars, always positioning one sheep on top of the other. And the build order I'm going for currently is the Manatom build order. And we can follow through each different scenarios in the flowchart based on the saves I'm going to make. I'm waiting for 5 minutes before I make the first save, so that I have a save in Dark Age using the build order. I usually take 5 minutes as the benchmark for every single set of the scenario of learning the build order. And I found my deers. If it's a deer map or a chicken map, the build order might look different, but since it's a deer map, I'll show you guys the build with a deer one. The difference in the build will become slightly different if you're pushing the neutral deer or not pushing the neutral deer. Those factors will also come into the play. Pushing the deer, luring the boar at the same time. If you cannot do this at the moment, I would highly recommend learning this. The next villager makes a house towards the enemy. I'm expecting my enemy to be on the bottom there. And then I'll collect 10 wood, and by the time that villager is done with the 10 wood, it will have, like, these villagers will have deposited enough wood for me to be able to afford the barracks, which I need to click up. I'm gonna use the barracks as the second building to click up to the next stage. And we're getting close to the 5 minute mark. And I'm gonna go scout my opponent. And I'm gonna be looking to make a save. So now I have 175 wood. And we're getting close to the 5 minute mark. Basically, I've done almost everything I would want to do in an actual build order so far perfectly. And I'm gonna make a save. So if you're making saves, I'll call it man at arms 5 minute, and I'll make the save here. So now I have a save for the build order at 5 minutes. So when you're going back in your gameplay loops, you can make these saves and load up this exact same scenario so that you can fix the next few steps. So 5 minutes, you have to do it perfectly, otherwise keep restarting. If you cannot copy the first 5 minutes as like a professional players, I will not even recommend playing a multiplayer game or go progressing forward from this position. If you cannot do the dark ages like similar as the pro player, you should have zero idle time in your town center. Your villages should be on the correct resources at the correct time. Pick up any build order, not even mine. You can try to do the Manatom one that I'm doing, but you can do it for scouts, you can do it for drush, you can do it for any of the builds you have learned from watching a professional player. Just pick up a build which is going to be widely available on any of the websites or Patreons or any PDF you have picked up, and try to follow along using this method. This is not a build order guide, this is more of a how to execute the build order guide. So next 5 minutes, I'm gonna try to make sure I'm doing everything perfectly. If I feel like I have done any mistakes, I'll reset. And we're gonna click up at 19 population. I'm gonna wait for the last villager. Continue scouting. The last villager goes to the gold. Position my sheep. Click up. And there's a little bit of idle time because I did not position my villagers on garrisoning the food. So I had 4 seconds of idle time, and that's a mistake. I should not have that. I should be able to click up as soon as loom finishes. So I'll actually make a restart. So that's basically the whole point of this exercise. I'm gonna be curious if it restarts the game or restarts the save. It restarts the game, but that's why we load up the game. So Manatom's at 5 minutes, we'll load it up again. And I want to make sure I don't make that mistake. So for me to not make that mistake, I have to kill the boar under my town center. So this is how, if I feel like I've made any mistake in my build, I'll try to always just reload the save and try to make sure I don't make that Dark Age macro mistake. Last villager goes to gold, according to my build order. I'll also position these villagers next to this sheep because they were walking all the way to the center of the town center and then retasking themselves on the sheep. I'm gonna garrison the food at around 70% of the loom finishing. And now I'll start garrisoning the food. And I'm able to click up. Now I'm able to queue up loom because I killed the boar at the correct spot. So this is the fix I've made to the build, and it immediately allows me to smooth out the build. Now I'm gonna queue up the militia as soon as I'm able to. And I'm gonna queue 3 militia. Next on the build order is 8 onward. I'm gonna start sending 8 onward. And at 10 minutes, I'll make a save again. 2 on gold, rest on the sheep, and I'm waiting for 100 word. So my build is a little bit different. Technically, with other civilizations, you can do it slightly earlier for the archery range. Some people like going for their archery range even before the mill. I am in the camp of getting the mill always before I go for the berry bushes. And the split I like having is 5 on sheep and 3 on berries. Because 5 on sheep is efficient enough to completely saturate the sheep. 6 just allows you to completely make sure your TC doesn't go idle when you're collecting food with 6 villagers. With 2 deers, you will not be able to afford the wood upgrade immediately with my build. But based on how fast you go for the switch, you can afford it. So now I'll click the Manatom upgrade and queue a villager. And the new villagers will basically go to berries until I have 5 on berries. And as soon as my sheep is almost getting finished, I'll make 2 farms before putting these villages on straggler. And I'm gonna wait for the wood upgrade, because if I'm not able to afford the wood upgrade right now, I'll never be able to afford it. And I'll make the archery range. Use the mana terms liberally, and now I'll make another save. So this is gonna be mana terms 10 minutes. So there's actually an option, because I'm playing Saracens and I do not have any economy bonuses. I have an option to think about right now. Do I continue playing down this line and go for the wood upgrade, or do I go for the fast fletching approach where I need that extra food right now to be able to afford the fletching? And if you look at my mana term flowchart, usually the follow-ups from this position is going to be, if I am against someone playing range unit defense, if he's playing archers or skirmishers right now, I'm going to be making skirmishers. So I'll remove these villages from gold as soon as I have 50 gold on the bank. I'll get the wood upgrade because I need to make skirmishers, so I can delay fletching a little bit. You don't really need to rush fletching when you're playing skirmishers. But if I'm playing archers, I will actually consider skipping the wood upgrade, because I want to get fletching as fast as possible, because with archers you can get kills on your opponent's scouts and your opponent's villagers when you have fletching. So that is the next decision tree that I'm going to explore. So I'll make one save and explore the fast fletching option just to go for the kill faster. Of course, I don't want the AI to resign, so I'm not gonna kill it. But those are the options you can definitely explore on what feels more comfortable. So 5 on berries, 2 on farms with 2 on gold, with archery range on the way up. Now I can make a spearman if I'm afraid of scouts, wall in the villagers on my berries, wall in the villagers on the wood line, wall in the villagers on my gold mine. All of these scenarios you can definitely practice the more often you do it. This is very specific to the mana term. Each of the scenarios with different build orders will have different ways of having priorities on what you need to focus on. I'm gonna go for the fast fletching option this time, just to show you guys that there's multiple ways of approaching the same problem basically. Use the mana terms to buy as much time while you're making the archery range. If certain civilizations, I like making these 2 farms because it allows me to afford fletching. If I do not do that, I won't be able to afford the fletching upgrade. I go for the blacksmith, and now I'll start making farms while making archers at the same time. And once you're starting to make archers, you send basically 2 extra villages to gold. And as soon as your blacksmith is up, you need 5 villages on gold, so that you can continuously produce and stack a little bit of gold. Yep, so blacksmith is almost up, so my 5th villager is on the way. And I'll be able to stack the gold I need for fletching when my 3 archers will move out from the base. So there's 2 timings for moving out with the archers in this exact scenario, which is going to be either like with 2 archers and a spearman against scouts, or 3 archers if you're not against scouts. If you're against scouts, you actually want to pressure very quickly, and you'll reach their base around 13 minutes with 2 archers and 1 spearman. Do I need the spearman is going to be the question. If you're against scouts, the answer is yes. If you're not against scouts, the answer is no. If he has nothing, if he's just playing range units himself, I would not have played archers, I would have played skirmishers. Can I wall is also going to be the question. So there are 3 variations. You play either archers, you play walls, or you go for skirmishers. Those are the 3 variations when you play mana terms you should be considering. So now I'm gonna move out with 3 archers with fast fletching while making farms the entire time. As soon as I have the 3rd archer on the way, I'll be able to afford fletching. Now I'm gonna continue making farms the entire time. Like, this will be the benchmark where I'll actually show you till Imperial Age. So For the short guides I was making, this is going to be a little bit of a bigger one so that you can kind of understand every single macro or micro decision I'm taking when redistributing my economy and executing the build order. So next steps from here, you want to get to 14 to 16 farms and try to go up to the next stage, or you make scouts after 10 farms. Is your opponent making skirmishers when you make archers? You want to play scouts. So that's the next decision tree that you can think about. When you have 10 farms, instead of using timings as a benchmark, I like having 5, 10, 15. You can also make timings based on the build order decision tree that you're going to take. So after 8 farms, I need 2 more before I have the decision to take should I play scouts or not. If the answer is yes, I'll make a save and then make the stable. If the answer is no, I'll still make the save so that I can come back to this exact scenario so that I can have that decision to be recognized in this scenario. So just to showcase that can also be a possibility, I'll make these 2 extra farms, and basically new villages will stay on straggler trees. And 14 minutes, I'm making the save a little bit earlier. Save mana terms. 14 minute or archers into scout, or the other way is 10 farm decision. So this is the timing where I'll make the second decision, because I'm going to start stacking food, which I need to either invest into making more units, upgrades, or whatever. Like I can also start making skirmishes of my own depending on the civilization. But if you don't have any other civilization bonuses, you can think about those decisions. I'll keep making archers and villages the entire time while I'm collecting wood from these straggler trees. These 8 villages are on wood the entire time. Continue making archers non-stop, and I'll soon be able to afford the stable. With certain serfs, you can do it slightly faster. With Saracens, this is like your raw economy on what this will feel like. Now, I want at least 20 farmers before I think about clicking up to the next stage. And we will need a second lumber camp because the stragglers under our town center are running out. And now you can get the upgrade if you're against skirmishes. You can get forging so that you can do damage and kill skirmishes faster. If you're against archers, consider getting armor. But against skirmishes, you don't really need the armor, since the skirmishes, even with fletching, will only do 1 damage to your scouts. So those are things you can definitely consider. And you can afford bloodlines as well. So it just depends on how aggressive or passive you're playing the game. And the berries are almost about to be out, and I really like having these villages go to a wood line once they're done, while I'm making farms with these straggler villages the entire time. I want to get up to 20 farms. That's the next benchmark I'm working with. And we're getting close to the 20-minute mark, and we are in a very foreign decision tree compared to the standard fast castle age. This is more in line of both of you are making army and playing extended feudal age. It's a little bit more on the rare side since people like walling a lot, but there are situations where it does arise. I'm going to start pulling these villages to the wood so that I'm going to start stacking a little bit of wood. I'll get bloodlines, get archer. I'll even consider getting armor even against skirmishers, just so that they are more tanky against, let's say, spearmen or something, or villages which are fighting back. Continue making army the entire time. Try to macro my way up to the next stage. And whenever I feel like I can cut production to go up to the next stage, let's say I've done enough damage right now, like I have killed a lot of units from my opponent, and I'm willing to go up to the next stage. I will, like, with this many farms, I might almost always invest into wheelbarrow because it will pay off very quickly for itself when you invest it with this many amount of farms. And the other thing is you can invest into making a market, which allows you to basically balance your economy, even if it's imbalance. Like most of the time, imbalance in your economy arises when you're microing in the front. Those would be the next few steps to go up to the next stage. And I'll make another, not save chapter, I'll make another save. And atoms 20-minute after big feudal. Now I can sell every resource to click up faster, but I'd rather just save the extra stone. I'll buy only 100 after selling 100 stone. And I'm up to the next stage, even after making that much military at 20 minutes in game time. While I'm slowly just walling myself. Like technically I could have walled slightly faster, but I'm expected to maintain map control with my army presence. So based on the next few units you want to make, you can balance your economy. Now I can play crossbow light cav while I'm going up to the next stage, upgrade my existing units. But if you have traded those units, okay, this is a big mistake which I ended up making, not getting wood upgrade in the entire feudal age, which will cost me with the amount of resources I actually ended up collecting. So if I want to fix this, I have to go back into the load game and be able to afford it. But those would be the decisions you have to make when fixing a build order. Like that's a major mistake even I ended up making because I was so focused on getting the perfect timing. Kind of why I was confused why I'm stacking so much food when I did end up making the stable. Now that explains why. So that's a mistake I definitely can fix when I'm revisiting the build order. I'll get the gold upgrade on the way up. I get the farm upgrade and the wood upgrade. And while I'm doing all of this, I have lots of army. I'm gonna upgrade this army. Now there's other decisions to take on should I play ballistics, go for bodkin arrow, wood upgrade, and I'll sell the other 100 stone just to make sure I am able to afford my upgrades on my cavalry as well. I can play knights and crossbows right now because my crossbow master is still alive. But if my crossbow master was not alive, I might even consider playing cavalry archers. I also want ballistics on this army so that it's more accurate. And I'll get armor for my cavalry so that they can tank more. So like this is the amount of macro you can kind of do. This just comes with experience on what these situations will look like, and most of it came down to me practicing the build often enough that I can figure out what my economy will look like when I want to afford all of these upgrades at the same time. The less resources you stack when you're able to afford everything you want to make in the next stage, the better it is for you. So I was able to basically have the macro I needed for making this much army while going up to the next stage. Yes, I did use the market a little bit, but it's just to show you can boost your timing. Even when you invest into that much military, you just want to maintain map control against someone who is fighting with you in feudal age and then going up to the next stage. So let's go back and load up a different scenario. You can make a save here and continue from this aggressive line, but based on the games you're playing, you can recognize which situation you were in originally and load up a save to practice that exact scenario next time you play it. So let's say I'm gonna do this decision tree, 14-minute 10 farm decision. So this is the save I'm going to open so that I can actually continue doing this. And the first thing I'll immediately fix is getting the wood upgrade. Even if I played fletching, I want to get the wood upgrade as soon as I'm able to afford fletching. And now we want to go up to the next stage. This game, I'll try to go up to the next stage as fast as possible. So I'm going to start walling up. because I don't want to force a fight. Like at this stage of the game, I'm expecting my opponent to have skirmishes on the field, so I'm gonna just hide behind my walls and start seeding 16 farms, which I need to click up to the next stage. If I want to click up even faster, I'll consider making a market, but just to show like without the market what it will look like. If I want to make a market, I'll make another save to use the market as a benchmark for my timing. If I don't want to use the market, I'll just use the farms as the benchmark for the other timing. With Saracens, you almost always want to use the market, so you can consider that based on civilization you're practicing. If you have a favorite civilization you want to practice your build orders with. 13 farms. I'm slowly getting myself walled up. The scout can go auto scout while I'm massing archers. The army, like he has skirmishes and archers, so I want to just run away and not take a fight against him. 15 farms, so I need one more before I have the food economy to click up to the next stage. And I need 5 on gold so that I can continue making archers the entire time, and then I'll start splitting villages on wood so that I can balance my economy for castle age. Keep making archers the entire time. Now I'll have the resource stack I need to go up to castle age based on whichever build order you're following. Every good build order just has a timing and a benchmark in mind, which you can try to copy for achieving with your own games. And after this villager, I will be able to click up. And that's the fast up click when you are making the decision at 14 minutes. I recognize that I will not be able to hold the map, so I'll just ran into my base and fully walled myself. And now going up to the next stage, you have other decisions to take. Make a save again at this state of the game and recognize which situation are you in. Are you going to play double archery range from this position? Are you going to play one archery range, one stable from this position? Are you going to boom from this position? Are you going to switch to unique unit from this position? Make a save and try to explore what your economy will look like for every single one of those scenarios, so that you have a mental map when you actually get into these situations, so that you can get over the hurdle of not panicking and fixing your economy at the last spot. So at this stage of the game, I want to play the standard crossbow approach. So I'll make the second archery range while going up, get the economy technologies which I was missing, which is going to be horse collar and the gold upgrade before I go for the armor. If I'm fighting, like let's say he's forcing a fight, I'll recommend getting armor first. But if you're not being applied, if they are not being able to apply pressure behind the walls, you're able to push them away and they're not really able to harass you when you're sitting behind your walls. I recommend getting the economy technologies always. And that's pretty much the end of the demonstration of how you can use saves to explore every single scenario and learn every single decision tree when going for a build order and perfecting every timing that you need in order to get to a pro level. And I'm just gonna end it once I'm in crossbow situation, and you have 10 different areas that you can explore when doing stuff like this. So 14 farms is more than enough to be able to afford the crossbow and bodkin. I don't need like the 2 farms which expire are completely fine. The new villages can go to wood and gold. I'll move out with this army. Technically could have moved out much faster, but just to showcase that this is not really an issue, you can go for the ballistics from this position because you have that many crossbows. And the next thing would be to stack enough food for going for the wood upgrade, which is very important. Or I can add a town center right now. If I think my ballistics is gonna not be that useful, he's completely walled and I can't really hit anything or force a fight, I would add a town center right now. But since we are going for ballistics, I'll continue down with that. Now I need enough wood for another town center or a siege workshop based on the situation I actually end up in. Wheelbarrow can be very useful at this stage of the game because I'm getting close to that 35 to 40 villager count. Like usually 40 villagers is when you want to get it. 35 to 40 villagers is what my recommendation is on when to get wheelbarrow. Just use the crossbows to out micro the feudal units. AI is pretty good at dodging stuff because he like waits for you to shoot before he moves his unit. But once you have ballistics, it's basically over. Now I can add a town center behind this and make more saves at 25 minutes. If you're more interested in Castle Age and mid-game macro, I would make more saves at this stage of the game, and based on the situation, I'll like explore different situations. Instead of going for ballistics, I might go for 3 town centers immediately. Instead of going for 3 town centers, I might play 2 town center siege workshop instead of ballistics. I might even play 3 range, thumb ring, market, sell everything, and try to play all in 1 TC with crossbow mass. So those would be some of the situations. If any of these feel attractive to you, I recommend practicing those to see which situation fits what. Okay, I think that's it. If you have any questions regarding this, please comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that this might give you guys. And that's basically the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you like this stuff, give it a like. Consider subscribing to follow along with my soon full-time streaming thing. And I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing you guys on my stream soon. See ya.